Okay, we are rolling.
Sure.
I want to talk about kind of overcoming shyness and like a social anxiety. Mm-hmm. We want to try like an interview sort of style, right? Because it's a little difficult for you to talk directly to the camera.
Yeah, I'm really bad at thinking of things to say, but I love answering questions.
And how do you feel about having all these lights on you?
This isn't actually so bad because the way I'm positioned right now, there is no lights in front of me. Usually when Chris and I set up a video, I'm facing towards like the camera, and the camera is where all the lights are. And when all the lights are like in my eyes, it freaks me out. My mind just turns blank.
I think that's a good place to start, just because that has been one of our struggles, because I know you're totally down to film and do stuff, and like I want the audience to know I'm not forcing him to do this.
No, he's not. I really want to help, and I do want to film and stuff, but yeah.
But yeah, it's been a problem just because of the shyness, and like as soon as the camera's on, like it's not a natural thing to do.
No.
It's very unnatural for most people. In case anyone doesn't know, I'm Chris, this is Taryn, and we live together obviously, and most people know that, but some people might not. But when I met you, you were so shy. Even the first time we hung out, like you didn't talk that much.
No, I didn't.
I was just like, how do I talk to him?
Yeah.
Would you describe yourself as socially anxious?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I would describe myself as socially anxious. Ever since I was like a kid, when there was too much going on, too many people, I'd like physically hide in a closet. So like I would have to go to like youth group and that was like part of my socialization. And I would sometimes spend most of it in a closet in that church, hiding from people.
Were you always like that?
Always like that.
Like from birth?
Yeah. Whenever my parents had company over and they wanted me to come out of the room, I was horrified to do so. I just wanted to stay inside.
Do you remember exactly what it was that scared you about people?
No, it's just, I know when I say too much, it's so general, but I get very overstimulated very easily. Oddly enough, when I was younger, I did a lot of dance. So I did a lot of performances, which you would think would be horrible for that kind of thing.
So you're talking about like performing is easier for you than interacting?
Is way easier for me because it's a lot easier to expect what's going to happen. It's more predictable.
Right, and yeah, you there's no uncertainty about what you're supposed to do. You know exactly what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
So from the time you were a kid, you were shy as fuck. Mm-hmm. Was there ever a point where you got more shy or less shy?
Whenever there was something that I was very interested in, it obviously made it easier. Like if I was interested in video games and I went to a gathering where people were playing video games, it was a lot easier to be drawn out to come watch that, because it is something that I was interested, that I knew about, that I can talk about, which is also ties into that whole scripted thing where it's just like, it's territory that I know I can handle, I know a lot about.
Playing video games?
Like, or talking about video games too.
Okay.
I'm very much a play by myself kind of guy.
Mm-hmm.
It's super stressful competing against other people or people judging what you're doing. So that was kind of my MO. But I understand for a lot of other people, it was a way to bring people together, which I enjoyed. I loved watching people play Super Smash Brothers and all those kind of things when I was a kid, but I really didn't like participate.
Do you remember like when kids would bring Game Boys to school?
Yeah.
And I used to be one of those kids. I was literally like, oh, everyone loves me now because I brought Pokemon, and everyone would like watch me play.
Mm-hmm. I was not that kind of person. I would go to the other side of the school in the corner of the field and play by myself. I didn't want to be.
You didn't want people watching you?
No, I didn't want people watching me. I didn't want people bothering me.
So not only were you shy, but you just straight up didn't care. Like you never felt the need. You weren't like, oh, I feel left out.
No, I never felt left out.
No. Okay.
I don't want people to think I'm misanthropic, but I feel like even when I was a kid, I really didn't like people. I really didn't like seeing how they acted, how they interacted. I didn't like the noise they made.
Because you were sensitive and they were loud.
They were loud and rude and inconsiderate. And They were. I just couldn't
What
wrap.
school did you go to?
I just couldn't wrap my head around it. It wasn't just school. It was just in general.
Okay, so in high school, nothing changed?
Not really. For a good portion of my lunch hour, I would go to the library and eat in one of the empty, not stalls, halls, shelves in the library and whatnot. Because it was like
a desk?
no, like, you know how there's just lanes of books?
You ate lunch in a book corridor?
Yeah, I ate lunch in the furthest book corridor at the first high school I went to.
Oh my god. Would they let you eat in there?
Yeah. Or what I also did in like grade 8 as well is I would go into the science room where I had science class, and I would be the only one in there, and I would eat lunch there as well by myself until the bell rang. And even when I switched high schools, I actually, instead of doing like a regular lunch, I worked in the concession. Because like, there's no real point of doing anything at lunch, so I might as well make money. So I worked in the concession at lunch until the bell rang, and then I would go to class.
How do you come out as a shy person that doesn't talk to people? What did you do? Who did you tell?
You don't really tell anyone. You just tell one person, and then the rumors fly, and then people ask you.
So you had like a friend or like two friends or an acquaintance or something.
I started being interested in a boy, and that guy was kind of popular. So he had friends, and he talked to those friends and that kind of thing. So.
Was he gay or you just liked him?
No, he's gay. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. And so you told his friends that you liked him?
No, I told him that I liked them, and he started to tell his friends, and his friends started to tell friends.
Okay, but so wait, what did he say when you told him?
I can't.
It didn't
remember.
go anywhere?
Oh, it was more like I think I like you back kind of thing. Where are you gay? Yeah, I think so. Or you, yeah.
Okay, but like, did you kiss? Like, where did it go? What happened?
Well, I mean, later on, I started to spend my lunch breaks like going to the what are called portables and making out and stuff. So
this is news to me. I've never heard this story before.
Mm-hmm. So that started to get me out doing stuff. But once everyone started to know, it definitely weeded out the people who were nice and the people who were assholes.
But he was popular, so how did that affect him? People just didn't care that he was gay?
No, he was already out. He was the only like out person at the school.
But it didn't seem to cause problems for him.
No, it didn't seem to cause problems for him. However, he was a very strong personality where he wouldn't take shit from anyone and that kind of thing.
Good.
And I was not that kind of person at all.
That's a hard thing to do in a small town like where you grew up, because like for the record, like he didn't grow up in like a city. He grew up in like a
small town,
a small ass like hick town kind of.
Yeah, and yeah, it was very rough for him. I'm sure. Like, I mean, from what he told me, especially, like...
I can't believe I never have heard of this person before. Like, we've talked so much about your, like, childhood or whatever. Mm-hmm. So, what became of him? Like, when did it stop?
It pretty much stopped a few years after we moved here. Because we moved to Vancouver together, and we were together for...
That was him? Oh, so I did know about him. I just didn't know that's how it started.
Yeah, that's how...
Oh, I know. Okay, I'm on the same page now.
That's why that was the person I was with 8 years. Is because we started seeing each other in high school.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I was like, who is this mystery person?
Yeah, who's this mystery person who doesn't take crap from anyone? Mm-hmm. It's like, you have met this person, you know.
I mean, I guess it's easier to deal with people when you're a sociopath. You were with your boyfriend at this time.
Yes.
So you kind of had that
that
need satiated to some degree. Mm-hmm. And then you broke up.
Yeah.
And how was that decision for you, knowing that you didn't really have a lot of friends outside the relationship? Did that make it harder to break up?
Yes. but also no, because I did have coworkers who supported me.
So you had some friends and your coworkers at this point.
Yes.
And was that easy for you because while you were working together, you had something to do?
Yes, we had something to do, and it was like a forced scenario where I saw them every day.
Right. So you didn't have to like call them up. They didn't have to call you up. You were just there.
No, I was just there. Yeah.
Right. And did you feel closer to them because of that?
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I feel like that happens though with most work situations. You get very close with them because you're with them for 8 hours
of course,
a day.
but some people have their work friends and then they have their outside of work friends.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But for you, your work friends were your friends.
Yes, because I didn't do anything outside of work, so they were my only like friends.
Right. And after breaking up with your boyfriend, I mean, you went out with your coworkers and immediately met me. And I think since meeting me, I'm guessing that's probably the biggest social change that you've had, just because I know so many people and I've like sort of brought you into this world of like social events.
Yes, very much so.
Yeah.
Especially being like allowed to hang out with certain people, because that was an issue in my last relationship where I wasn't really allowed to hang out with people.
Mm-hmm.
So it provided like a lot more opportunity.
Yeah, and so I'm just circling back to that. Actually, it would have been really easy to isolate you because you were already not a social person as it was.
Mm-hmm.
So it would have been very easy for your past partner to sort of cut you off.
Absolutely, because I didn't really have that desire or that need to be like, I need to be around people. So
Right, so he was like, don't talk to people, and you're like, okay,
yeah,
sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I think had you been more a social person, had more friends and like a support network, someone probably would have told you sooner that he was not a good guy. When did you decide to like break up with him?
He actually broke up with me, and this has happened multiple times.
Oh, I remember you went on and off.
Yes.
Like break up, get back together, break up, back together.
Yeah.
And eventually you were so numb to it that it was easy for you to break up with him.
I was always desperate to get back together because it was the only like other gay person I knew that wanted to be with me. So every time he would break up, I'd be like, no, we can make it work. We could like figure it out. And I think he expected that.
It's like tape that you keep peeling off and sticking back on. Eventually, there's just no stick. Mm-hmm. And eventually you're just like, okay, bye.
Yeah. Honestly, when I was on my own after like he moved out, I was plenty happy going home, and all I would do is like play video games by myself until the next morning and then go to work and just do my own thing. Like I was never really sad about that at all. But I wouldn't have gotten to that point unless an outside perspective would be like, hey, what's going on is a little crazy. Mm-hmm. It's kind of a really awful situation you're in. I just wouldn't have seen it.
So then when you started being around me more and we started gathering friends, what was that like for you? Because I know you were pretty shy. Mm-hmm. I mean, you still are.
Yeah.
But like with smaller groups, you were fine, like with a few people.
Yeah.
So I guess what's it been like for you just coming into that sort of thing that you've never been in, a situation you haven't really been in before, like having people over and like stuff like that?
Good and bad. Bad when there's too many people, because I get scared and I go right back into my room for the rest of the evening.
Right, but has it changed at all from the beginning, like since I met you?
I would say so. I mean, it has its perks, but also it's had its issues as well. Because again, I'm not necessarily a sociable person, and I don't crave that like specific interaction. So I get a lot of issues where like, you don't answer me back. We never like go.
Not me, other people.
Yeah. Other people are like, oh, you don't answer my messages back. We don't like talk one-on-one a lot socially, and We never do stuff together.
So basically, you've met people who like you, and they are kind of wondering why you don't interact with them more.
And I really like them as well. Like I like them as people. I think they're nice to be around, but I don't have that desire to be with people all the time.
Or even not when you're not with them, like texting and stuff.
Yeah, no, I don't do that.
Yeah, you're not a texter for sure.
Mm-mm. I don't wonder what they're up to or anything.
And so, like, if a lot of people show up here, say on a Saturday, what do you have anything that you do that helps you get comfortable when you're overwhelmed?
Funnily enough, when too many people come into my room to check on me, and then all the hustle and bustle that was out here ends up out there, so it's quieter to come back out here. An issue I know that I have is whenever someone talks to me, I usually automatically think that they need help or they want something from me. So I go into problem-solving mode, and it doesn't become like an enjoyable conversation. It's just like, what can I do to sate you so that you can go away? Which doesn't make very good for conversation.
Do you prefer deep conversation?
Sorry, I need to reset. This coffee is like messing with me.
Okay.
It's not giving me like energy. It's just making me feel like sick. I need to like reset.
Is the caffeine making you tense?
It's making me really tense.
Is that because we're on camera, or is that just what caffeine does to you?
That's just what caffeine does to me. Because I'm totally fine that we're on camera or whatever. It was exactly like what I was saying before. I just felt like whatever you're trying to get from me, I want to give it to you, kind of thing.
Like, answer the question quickly and get it over with. Like, yeah.
But it's not that I want this to specifically end. I entered like problem solving mode and just like, ugh. Because now that I'm antsy, I'm like, I can't sit still, and not sitting still makes me rush things. So I need to stand up.
Yeah, just take your time.
For the majority of it, I was totally fine. It's just now it feels like someone's wrapped my brain in saran wrap and it's under pressure. Like physically, it feels tight and it's like uncomfortable.
Did you need to like lay down? Like,
yeah. Can you even continue it like this though?
Yeah, totally. Here, put this under your head. I also remember you saying that it's easier for you to talk to people when you're not looking directly at them.
Yeah. I think it's also that pressure of they're there waiting for something, and if you're not looking at them, then it's a little more like you're answering yourself.
I feel like, and you're not distracted by them looking at you expectantly.
Yes. Also, I don't know, when you're in a situation that I'm kind of in, you never know how people are going to react to what you say, because I feel like I'm not necessarily as aware of myself as I would like to be. So you're constantly trying to read their facial expressions to like predict what's going on.
And figure out what you're supposed to say.
Yeah, and it makes it less honest because you're, again, trying to figure out what they want to hear.
Okay. You can keep lying down.
No, I think I prefer this.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I know we've talked about this before, where you feel like it takes up a lot of your energy because to look at me and make eye contact with me.
Yeah.
And so, and like I was explaining to you, like you don't have to maintain eye contact like all the time.
Yeah. Oh, I think I do have a tip.
Yeah.
Specifically, don't enter a group, but like linger around them. So you can be just
satellite orbit.
Yeah. So you can like listen to a conversation and contribute here and there without feeling like you have to respond, because the conversation doesn't have to do with you specifically, because the moment they turn to you, it's game over, man. They're expecting something out of you and you're just like, fuck.
Do you feel more comfortable if you're like sitting side by side with someone but you're not facing each other?
Yeah, I prefer that they're chatting with someone else or their own kind of group and I'm like adjacent.
Right.
Yeah, but the problem is, and this happens at parties all the time, if someone sees you alone, they feel like they're saving you.
They
by
think, oh,
coming
look at
up
that
to you.
lonely boy. I
Look at
have to
that
go talk to
lonely
him.
boy, I have to go talk to him. And then you see them like approaching, you're like, no. Hey. And you know what happens? Someone sees that and then they start accumulating. And then all of a sudden it becomes a group around you. And then you're like, you have to move somewhere else.
I can talk about that. That's a whole nother video, group dynamics in a party setting. Like, it's a whole thing.
And then you go somewhere else, and then one person goes to check or be like, you're alone. And then like it starts to collect, and it's just like, it's osmosis, man.
Yeah, it is. It really is.
It's, yeah.
When a group gets too big, people will start breaking off from it.
Yeah. Most of the time, if I have left, is very intentional.
Yeah, you're not lonely. You just want to be alone.
Let me tell you, I am never lonely.
You're never lonely?
I'm never lonely at a party.
At a party, okay.
Yeah, if I'm alone, I am alone for a reason. Yeah. So.
I find parties actually can be very lonely, just because like you do disappear into like a crowd of people.
Well, here's the thing. When I go to the club, I loved packed clubs because it is so anonymous, random. No one's focusing on you because there's so much going around. I feel very alone, and I like that. When we had visited LA, like two different things. Like I feel like there's a club called the Abbey, and it's always like that, where it's like packed, like white noise, and I'm like, I like that. I like nobody like talking to me who I am, but I feel a part of it without being singled out. But Chris is just like, there's too much. It's like the opposite. It flipped. There's too much going on. I feel like he doesn't have any like individualism.
No, I get bored because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? I might as well be like alone in my room right now.
Yeah. But for me, I'm like, I can actually like dance and go crazy without feeling like I'm out of the norm. It feels very, what's the term? When you just follow what everyone else does, you become...
Conformity?
Yes. Yeah, everything becomes like conformed. Like, doesn't matter what you're doing, as long as you're still part of the random noise, you conform to that noise. And then so you feel like you're supposed to be there, no matter what you're doing. I'm very happy with the connections that I've made, and I'm very happy knowing all of these people. I just have a very hard time interacting with them. It sounds like really bad or crazy, but it's just like all these people are very cool rocks, and I really appreciate them, and I really like them, and I love how individual they are, but I have a very hard time interacting with them.
Mm-hmm. So all that being said, do you have any goals for socializing?
I'd love to learn how to approach people that I don't know a lot easier. And I also want to give people the interaction that they want, for sure, because that is one of the biggest complaints I get, is that I don't answer messages back, but that is a lot of anxiety of again, where I'm like, I feel like people are messaging me because they need something or they need advice, and when I'm not prepared, I just rather not answer. So it's like a more of like on my terms, like when I'm mentally prepared to solve a problem, even though I know that's not what they're looking for. They're not looking for me to solve a problem for them.
They just want to interact with you.
They just want to interact with me. I would love to get out of that mindset where interactions are only for problem solving.
Or like an obligation.
Or an obligation, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much my goals for right now. And, you know, things are always getting better, and, you know, I've been really appreciating the journey that I've been on. So
getting better at talking to strangers, or not even strangers, but just people in general.
Breaking the ice is a huge problem for me. Even at work, when customers come to the store, it is very hard for me to say hello. I'm like, hi, or I'm like, hello. And then I like hide behind the pole again. Like, but even once a coworker starts talking to someone, I can help them because the ice is already broken. I cannot break the ice with them. I get so awkward. It's very hard to start something new with a stranger. So that, and also getting over the feeling of obligation / problem solving when communicating with people. So
Yeah, and getting better at responding to text and not feeling like it's a chore, maybe.
yes, it feels very much like a chore. It's work, and I just leave everything on red.
Yeah, you're used to navigating like toxic people, so
Yes,
that's why you
I am.
overthink everything.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, that makes sense.
Even it drives Chris crazy. Sometimes Chris will sigh. I'll be like, is everything okay? Are you upset? Like, where I knew people in the past where a sigh meant like, oh, the storm is rolling in. Like,
Yeah, a sigh means I'm already pissed
yeah,
at you.
yes, and it's your job to figure it out. And if you
Right.
don't, it's the end of the world.
And that's bad because that's what gives people anxiety. Whereas
Yeah.
if I sigh, I'm honestly most of the time I'm just breathing. I'm
Yeah.
like, I take a deep breath, and Taryn's like, "Are you okay?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "No. If I'm upset about something, I'll probably tell you."
Yeah.
I do appreciate that you are aware of those things. Like sometimes if I'm in a bad mood, like you will take the time to be aware of it and care about it, which is nice because it makes me feel like you care about my feelings. But it also is past that to a point where it is detrimental to you
Yeah.
to worry that much. So you need to like worry less about that.
Yeah.
And that'll make a lot of your interactions easier.
Let's add that to the goal list.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's all to the same goal. You can be more sociable and have less anxiety talking to people if you're not as worried about every little thing and thinking that everyone's mad at you or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it for now. Oh,
If you guys have experienced this kind of particular feeling or situation, like let me know. If you have any questions that I missed, also feel free to let me know. And I hope you like this format. It's been actually really fun for me. I open up a lot more, like as I said in the beginning, when I'm being asked questions. So this was actually really fun for me. So thank you.
good. I'm glad you actually enjoyed it and it wasn't
did.
too stressful.
I really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye.
How's your head feeling? How's your head feeling?
How's your head?
How's your head?